bubble clicking on the links in this bubble means you can watch this video again. And you may need to watch this video a few times today. Today's tasks are a little bit more tricky than they usually are. Okay, term 2, week 2. Today you can see that we have a morning Zoom check-in. We have our English work, our maths work and PDHP work all on Friday. It says complete all tasks in activity 8 of your English workbook for English. So we'll look at that first. I'm not going to read the other things because when we get to that, we can read it. English activity 8, student resources. So this is one that we've been doing every day this week. Read a book, and then you need to read a book using all the strategies that you've learned in class, fluency and expression, and all of those things, and then you need to discuss what happens in that book. You've done that every day this week, so you should be fairly good at it. All right, writing poetry. So we've been looking at poetry this week and imagery, painting pictures in people's minds and narratives. Okay, so you're going to go back, have a look at A Hairy Tank, which was the poem that you read yesterday. If you click on this link, you can read it again. Then you're going to use the online document, so that Hairy Tank poem, you're going to use that to help you write your own poem. So experiment with figurative language, and now I know that we haven't really spoken much about figurative language, so I've put some help on the next slide, and rhyme, so rhyming words. Lots of poems have rhyming words, not all of them, but lots of them. And then you're going to share your poem with me or Miss Collie and follow the instructions in Class Dojo by following the instructions. All right, so figurative language. Figurative language is when words mean something other than their literal meaning. So literal means their actual meaning, okay? So if I said my brothers are as loud as cymbals, even though that's spelled incorrectly, if I say my brothers are as loud as cymbals clanging together, I would expect, if it was literal, that those brothers actually sound like musical cymbals clanging together. If I was being literal with the next one, the new baby was a bundle of joy, I'd be looking at joy in my hands if I was holding a new baby. It felt as if I'd walked 1,000,000 miles. If that was literal, you'd actually be walking 1,000,000 miles to get to school. Okay? So we say these things because we're exaggerating. We're making things... Shh, Ansett. We're making things sound bigger and better, or sometimes worse than what they actually are. We exaggerate the truth. Okay? So the first one there, simile, is a comparison of two unlike things using like or as. So my brothers are as loud as cymbals clanging together. We can picture cymbals and what cymbals sound like. So we imagine those noisy cymbals. We imagine those brothers sound very, very noisy. Metaphor. So with a metaphor, we compare two things and we say that one thing is another. Okay, so with a simile, we say that two things, so the brothers and cymbals, are as loud as each other. So they're like each other. With metaphor, shush, Ansett. With a metaphor, you're saying the new baby was a bundle of joy. So you're saying that it is that thing. Instead of saying it's like a bundle of joy, it is. Hyperbole, we don't usually use that in year 3 and year 2, but that's okay. But hyperbole is when we exaggerate things. I mean, you guys use hyperboles a lot. I've walked 1,000,000 miles. My teacher gave me so much work that I couldn't sleep for 40 years. Okay, I've heard you guys use a lot of hyperbole, but we haven't really taught that yet. Personification, it's when you give human qualities to non-human things. So the sun is not a human, but the sun smiled. When we think of smiling, that's what humans do. The sun smiled down on me. Shush, Ansett! The sun smiled down on me as I walked to the bus. Okay? So we're saying that the sun has done something human-like, even though it can't really do that. Alliteration is where we repeat the same initial consonant sound. He helped her heal he helped her hurt head heal. So H, 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 H. We use that same letter over and over again. I think Ansett just wants to be part of this video today. Onomatopoeia is where the words that we use make the sounds that, so we use the word that sounds like the sound, if that makes sense. A snowball whooshed past my ear. You would imagine that it sounds like a whoosh as it goes past your ear. An idiom is a group of words whose meaning isn't understood from their literal meaning. So after the soccer game, my team was on cloud 9. They're obviously not on clouds, not up on cloud 9. Okay. So trying to think of the best way to explain this one to you. If you imagine a cloud 9, you don't imagine, if you imagine a soccer game and cloud 9, it doesn't make sense together. We'll explain this one better in the Zoom after I've had a few minutes to think about a better way of explaining it to you. I'm very sorry. Ansett is kind of confusing me at the moment. An allusion is where you connect to a person, place, or event that everyone's going to know. So if we say the gold medal winner was a Cinderella story, everyone knows the Cinderella story. So we imagine that the gold medal winner has had similar things happen to them that happened in a Cinderella story. An oxymoron is where you say something, when you say something, the two words are the opposite of each other. So when we say the old green couch was pretty ugly, pretty and ugly are opposites of each other. But we say pretty ugly, and then we say pretty ugly to know that it was very ugly. Okay? So two words that we say together that are the opposites of each other, but they make sense together. I'm sure that's all confusing. It's easier when you're in class and we can give you more examples. But if you come back to this slide, and during the Zoom meeting this morning, we'll be able to explain it a bit better. Okay, so you only have 2 English tasks for today: writing your own poem and your independent reading. Check that you've done them, and then reflect on all the different things that you've learnt this week. So reflecting, I would like you to write it, but you can talk to a parent about it, or another adult that you live with. You can talk about that to them, but I'd also like you to write about what you learnt this week with English and maths. I know there's a whole lot of new learning. There's a whole lot of new learning this week. So write it down and share it with me and Miss Collie. Okay, multiplication toss. So you need to collect the resources listed on page 37 of the booklet. Remember, when we're online here, all those page numbers don't matter. If you've got the printed version from the school, those page numbers will link up. Collect the resources, read the instructions for multiplication toss, have a go and use the videos if you need help. And then you've got Mathletics and Prodigy. Okay, so the resources. You need to have 2 spinners, or you could do 1 spinner and then use it twice. Okay, so you need to have a decagon spinner like it is there, and a paper clip or something else that like a safety pin that you don't open, or something like that you can spin around. See how the paper clip is connected to the pen down the bottom here? The pen's just in the middle. The paper clip is it's through it. So you lay the paper clip down, you put the pen in the middle, and then you would spin the paper clip around and see where it lands. Kind of like what my class, kind of like what we do with the fidget spinners when we're doing math activities. Okay. Instructions. Players take turns to spin the spinners. If a 3 and a 6 are spun, players can enclose either a block of 3 rows or 6, so you're making arrays with it. The game continues with no overlapping areas. The winner is a player with the largest area blocked out after 10 spins. Eventually, the space on the grid paper gets really small. Then you have to think, what if my 3 6s won't fit as 3 6s or 6 3s? Players can partition to help them, so that means you can break them apart. So, for example, I can do 3 6s as 2 6s and 1 6. I know that sounds so confusing. That's why there's a video here. We will watch these videos this morning in our Zoom meeting. But if you are accessing this without being in the Zoom meeting, click on this page, this link, and it will take you to the page that has all of the videos from the next few slides. Okay, there's the link again. All right, so if you click on that, it'll take you to a page that has these videos. This one will be at the top, and then you just scroll down and there's other videos. Those videos do a really, really good explanation of how this game works. But you've got your spinner, and then this person's obviously spun 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've spun an 8 on one of their spins, and they've also spun out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. An 8 and a 5. 8 times 5. And then this is their array, and they've put their name in it because that's their area now. This person has spun a 2 and a 4. 2 times 4. Okay? That's how you mark out the boxes. Once 10 spins have been done, then you see who has the most area. So you have to play this against someone else. I hope that explained it a little bit, but if you click on this link, it'll explain it more. And like I said, we will watch that today in our Zoom meeting. All right, PDHPE, if you need to open the workbook, it's there. What is a challenge? Are the challenges the same for everyone? You need to complete the challenges table in the PDHPE student workbook. Again, that workbook is on that page. You need to identify a challenge that you have faced or that you may face. Some of you might think a challenge is going off to high school. I mean, you're only in year 3 at the moment, but you might be thinking about high school. You might have a challenge that's a personal one at home. Have a think about the challenges that you've come across and challenges that might happen in the future. And then you're going to complete a mind map activity and think of some strategies that might help you get past that challenge. Okay, and then you've got the obstacle golf game. It's kind of similar to the game you played last week. You need to create 3 targets that you can safely throw a soft object. A good soft object is a pair of socks like you used for the basketball toss game the other day. Choose a starting point, and then that you're going to throw the object from. Place each target at different distances from the starting point. Choose or create at least one object that will act as an obstacle. So you need to have something in front that's going to make it hard for you to get this goal. So let's just say I had a hula hoop. I might put my hula hoop on the other side of my couch, and then I might stand behind my couch trying to throw my pair of socks into the hula hoop. The couch is my obstacle because it's not a straight line for me to get there. I'd have to throw over the couch, okay? Then you need to count how many times it takes you to get in. So if you throw it and it lands somewhere else, then you go and stand in that spot and then throw it from there. Okay, that's how we play golf here, or throlf. If you throw it and land on that bench there, then you would go stand near that bench and do it again, and then it would have taken you 2 throws to get it in. Okay. Which throwing styles will you use? So discuss that beforehand. Have a think about what will you do, what challenges will there be, how can you adjust what you're doing, so how can you change what you're doing or change the amount of effort you use to throw the object, and why do you think it's important? If you throw it and it lands near it, are you throwing it with the same force that you threw the first one? Have a think about that. How can you adjust your throwing style to throw your object accurately and avoid the obstacle? The obstacle is going to make it harder for you, okay? All right, so have a think about all of those things, then play them, record all of your throws, and repeat the challenge 5 times for each of the 3 targets. That's your PE activities for today. I know I explained it very fast. We will go through them again during our Zoom meeting. But everyone else, for everyone, have a great day of learning.